Dream Theater's Parasomnia is out, and that means that the Dream Theater fanbase can finally officially separate into two camps, with one hating on this formulatic nonsense and the other one praising the reunited band for triumphantly going back to their roots.
Okay kids, it's time to rock this
So let's take a look at Dream Theater's 16th studio album Parasomnia, discuss some strange things about it, and then finally answer the question whether it was even worth all that hype. Here you go. By the way guys, real quick before we start, as always, please do not hesitate to comment on anything you hear or see in this video, and especially if you disagree with me, because the whole point of our Metal Pilgrim channel is of course to start a conversation. But alright, let's do it! The album opens with an instrumental piece in the arms of Morpheus, which perfectly sets the tone for the first half of the record, especially with its intriguing and fitting the record's overall concept intro, later on exploding with one of the heaviest riffs on the record. Overall, In the Arms of Morpheus is very atmospheric and moody, and is designed specifically to ease the listener into the journey ahead. And in addition to that, to just remind you that it is a Dream Theater reunion album, with every instrumentalist having a chance to show off a bit before the band moves on to the main part of it. And you know what the craziest thing is? In a way, it is this instrumental intro piece which is the most definitive of the album's sound overall, as it actually incorporates all the different sides of the sound Dream Theater showcases on Parasomnia, somewhat of a short preview of the journey the band will take you on the next 7 tracks. So if there will be one song which you'd want to show a friend who just wanted to know what all the fuss is about, as weird as it may sound, but it would be The Arms of Morpheus, which would be just perfect for it. After the instrumental intro, Dream Theater take its listener to an already familiar section of Parasomnia, with 2 first singles placed back to back on the record. And since I already did extensive reviews of both Night Terror and The Broken Man, I won't be diving too deep into the song's composition in this video, but I just want to underline how different both of these tracks sound when listening to them within the album compared to the standalone singles. Absolutely liked Night Terror, it did feel somewhat safe at first, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, as it was a track specifically chosen by Dream Theater to show all fans that the band is back to its classic lineup, and that means that from Parasomnia they will get exactly what they know and love this band for. Yet it is when listening to it within the full album context when Night Terror takes on a new life, veering away from the immediate accessibility of its single release, and with certain sections of it opening up from a completely different side.
Fading with the dawn, vanishing at sunrise.
And the same goes for A Broken Man. Interestingly, the band placed the second single right after Night Terror, thus creating a stretch of more familiar Dream Theater territory. And yet, although I probably consider A Broken Man to be my least favorite out of the 3 singles released, its solo section still mesmerizes me every time I hear it. Yet the best about it here is that the musical themes and the melodies introduced on A Broken Man will actually be intertwined into the latter part of Parasomnia, once again helping you enjoy the song much more so than you did when hearing it first several weeks ago, since it actually will be what comes after it that adds colors to the themes of this track. There's just something fascinating about how Dead Asleep takes a recurring melody introduced before it and transforms it into something much darker and heavier. If A Broken Man was the accessible face of the album, this one is its shadowed counterpart. The track has this almost 1920s romance feel to it, thus making it somewhat hard to be enjoyed from its first listen. As I have to be honest with you, when I first heard the album a couple of months ago preparing for the interview with Mike Portnoy, Dead Asleep was actually by far my least favorite song from Parasomnia. Yet after listening to the album several times, and what is most importantly, listening to it from the very beginning until the very end, something just clicked, and I realized that Dead Asleep is in fact an integral part of Parasomnia's overall composition. And it is on this track, which closes the first half of the record, where Parasomnia culminates in its most darkest and heaviest form. And thus ends the first half of the album, and therefore, as always, here would be a good place to draw the first conclusions about Parasomnia. So let's do it. On their 16th studio record, Dream Theater decided to not reinvent the wheel. Quite the opposite. It feels like a natural continuation of Black Clouds and Silver Linings, with the band picking up pretty much exactly where this lineup of Dream Theater left off in 2009. Yet doing it with a slight modern twist.
What a twist!
In addition, Parasomnia is written in a rather old-school way, as it is best digestible when you listen to it in its entirety, and especially its latter part, which will kind of take you on this emotional roller coaster. And therefore, I'm really happy that towards the end of 2025, Dream Theater may be announcing another special tour on which they will perform this album in its entirety live, of which we actually spoke with Mike Portnoy in our latest interview, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, you should definitely check out right after watching this video. As seen how each of the songs, and especially those which were released as the singles to Parasomnia, open up when you listen to them among the other tracks on the record, I have a feeling that experiencing Parasomnia live in its entirety may bring up yet another absolutely new side of it, the one which we still are not able to see just yet. And by the way guys, since we're having a little break here, I just wanted to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel. So if you still haven't done so, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching on the show, I would really appreciate it if you'd consider doing it right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. But alright, the break is over. Let's continue. The second part of the album, which just ran a little bit ahead of myself, I have to be honest here and point out that is actually my favorite one on Parasomnia, and specifically because of how diverse it is. But anyways, it opens with yet another familiar tune, Midnight Messiah. And this is where the album shifts gears with newfound energy. On one hand, Midnight Messiah is more straightforward than its predecessors, but at the same time, it's no less engaging. There's an undeniable rock and roll edge to its rhythm, something refreshingly loose compared to Dream Theater's usual precision-driven structures. And despite the whole fact that it features possibly one of the heaviest riffs on Parasomnia, it still has a very, and I mean very, catchy chorus which will get stuck in your head for hours to come.
Midnight Messiah. Darkness descends.
The band then goes into Are We Dreaming, which is not really a song, yet it still serves a rather important purpose on Parasomnia, as it serves somewhat as a bridge between the heavy Midnight Messiah and a very touchy Band the Clock. The song which I refuse to believe that may leave anyone indifferent. Band the Clock is the track on which Parasomnia truly shines. And I do understand that many Dream Theater fans, and especially those who are die-hard metalheads, may consider it to be too poppy, but the truth is that I don't even care. To me, this is the best song on Parasomnia, by far. And I honestly don't give a flip what anyone says. To me, Band the Clock is a perfect mix of an old-school Dream Theater ballad with something fresh and new, which will connect Parasomnia and the Dream Theater legacy overall with the new generations of Dream Theater fans. It is the song on which James LaBrie's voice sounds the most powerful on this album overall. And in addition to everything, its solo is possibly the most emotionally powerful moment on Parasomnia, with a perfect balance of technicality and pure sentimentality. And the truth is that I can't even imagine what a cathartic moment this song may be when finally being played at a live show. And thus we come to Parasomnia's finale, which also happens to be the longest song on this record. And the truth is that the Shadow Man incident, although in my opinion is not the strongest song on the album, yet is definitely the best one to sum up Parasomnia overall. It is a culmination of everything that came before it, haunting, intricate, and powerful, and in a way serves as a more mature mirror to Parasomnia's opening track, In the Arms of Morpheus. In addition, its piano solo is arguably the best on the album, carrying a level of expressiveness that stands out even among the record's most virtuosic moments. And in addition, there is something very ambitious in its overall composition, with a very Scorpion-esque kind of solo to end the album, which leaves the listener with a feeling that Dream Theater were somehow able to once again deliver something special and makes them long for more. So, is Parasomnia a good album worthy of your attention? Abso-freaking-lutely yes! Will it be enjoyed by casual prog metal fans not too invested in Dream Theater? Definitely. But will you, as a Dream Theater fan, love it? Well, here is where it becomes trickier.
Yeah. It was like Dream Theater without annoying vocals. It was perfect.
Parasomnia is the album which, from the very beginning, was destined to be either hated or absolutely praised by Dream Theater fans. And the thing is that, let's be honest here, if you come to it with a certain prejudice, and especially after hearing the first singles off of it, there's virtually nothing this band could have showcased to you to change your mind. But at the same time, if you strip yourself of those, stop comparing it to any of the previous Dream Theater material, and simply enjoy it for what it is, this is when it shines beautifully. And the thing is that this is one of those albums which is definitely a grower. You have to listen to it several times from the very beginning until the very end to be able to enjoy it fully. And I'm telling you this as a person who's been sitting in it for a couple of months now and had a chance of spinning it several dozen times in the first few days since I received it. So in my opinion, there is a very high chance that if you did not like this album, there is a good chance that you did not like it yet. And if you did, well, believe me, this feeling will only grow through time. But this, of course, is just my opinion. What about you guys? What do you personally think about Parasomnia after the first couple of listens? Please let us know in the comments. I really hope to start a meaningful discussions in the comment section below. And by the way, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who, voiced their support to me and Ukraine after watching our interview with Mike Portnoy. Honestly, guys, it means the world to me. And thank you guys to everyone who's been, supporting me, this show, and my country through this very difficult time. We will prevail. Slava Ukraini!